the value that comes from these meters going in the ground is the drill bit value add that happens as we move through the year. Our revenue for the next, till 2032 or so, there's like a 900% CAGR over that period of time in royalty generation growth.
In mining, most companies build their story around a single flagship asset, one commodity or one major discovery. Globex Mining has taken a very different approach to that. Over decades, the company has assembled one of the most diversified mineral portfolios in the sector, spanning hundreds of properties, multiple commodities, several jurisdictions, and projects at virtually every stage of development. Now, it's a strategy built on creating opportunity from every angle. Through exploration, strategic partnerships, option agreements, and an expanding royalty portfolio, Globex has positioned itself to generate value in more ways than most companies in the junior mining space ever will. And at a time when investors are searching for quality assets, multiple catalysts, and sustainable long-term growth, one question stands out here. Could diversification ultimately prove to be the strongest asset of all? Welcome to the Market Frontlines. I'm your host, Lyndsay Malchuk, and right here with me to help answer that very question, I am pleased to welcome David Christie, president of Globex Mining, right here with us. David, it's so great to see you again. I think the last time it was in Quebec, I think it was, when you were stepping on the stage.
Yep, that was right. Good to see you too, Lyndsay.
Now, we're going to dive right into this because I know we don't have a lot of time. Globex has built a portfolio that looks very different from most companies in the junior mining space. I mean, you have exposure across multiple commodities, multiple jurisdictions, and projects ranging from the grassroots exploration all the way to the royalty generating assets. So when you look at that portfolio today, David, what do you believe investors still underestimate about the strength that kind of diversification creates?
Well, first, I don't think they really understand the diversity we have, because it's not just diversity in geography. There's diversity in commodities, everything from silica sand to gold to antimony. And, we've acquired things in down markets for certain commodities and sold them in up markets. And in the end, everything we do is to generate a royalty. So we are what I'd call a royalty generator, really. People might call us a project generator, but really what we're doing is generating royalties, because in the end, that's how we're going to really make money. We make money today, $5 to $6 million a year, but the real money is going to come when those royalties start coming on.
Right. Well, that's an interesting point because diversification, it can mean very different things depending on where we are in the commodity cycle. So that's going to bring me to something investors are really paying even more close attention to right now. You've spoken about building a stronger stream of revenue through the royalties and option agreements. As more properties are advanced by partners, how important is it for Globex to continue evolving from simply owning mineral assets to becoming a company with growing reoccurring revenue? And what does that mean for shareholders over the next couple years?
I think it's huge because it changes the whole sort of mind frame of Globex from a company that explores and finds new projects, which we'll always continue to do, to a company that generates revenue. And so if you look at our revenue for the next, till 2032 or so, there's like a 900% CAGR over that period of time in royalty generation growth. Wow. If the royalties we think will come to fruition in that period of time. So that's huge growth.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's really fascinating here is that isn't growth happening in just one area. I mean, there are multiple catalysts unfolding all at the same time, which is so interesting to just follow along. Globex has ambitious exploration season ahead on several of its wholly owned projects, including the Cadillac Wood, the Eldritch, and more than 8,000 meters of drilling planned. I mean, at the same time here, let's just clarify this. Your partners are expected to complete more than 300,000 meters of drilling across the broader Globex property portfolio this year. When you step back and you look at that level of activity, David, where do you think investors should be focusing their attention? And what discoveries or milestones have the potential to reshape how that market really values the company?
So, I'm going to talk about two projects that are in that 300,000 meters. Radisson is drilling 140,000 meters on our Kewagama and New Alger royalties, as well as their O'Brien project together. And that's huge for us because they continually put out new results, great grades, very exciting project. And that will mean a lot of growth for us in value on that royalty project. But then you also look at Cadillac's project. They're drilling over 100,000 meters or on the Cartier's Cadillac project. And, they're putting in new ounces in the ground there as well. So I think the value that comes from these meters going in the ground is the drill bit value add that happens as we move through the year. And, when you're drilling that many meters, you're going to see value add from the drill bit. And it's going to come from our own drilling on our own projects, such as Cadillac Wood, as you mentioned, and Eldridge, both previous historic producers, and haven't seen a drill in a long time. And then you also going to see lots of added value from our option partners and our royalty partners as they continue to drill their projects.
Amazing. And maybe that's actually the bigger story here. It's not just about one drill program or one headline. It's about the sheer number of opportunities actually being advanced simultaneously. When you look ahead over the next 12, 24 months, what does success look like for Globex? Is it more discoveries, expanding royalty revenue, additional partnerships, or is there another milestone you believe has the potential to fundamentally change the way the market views the company?
Well, I think seeing our projects advance is huge. And so one of the projects that should advance in the next couple of weeks is a project called Mont Sorcier. It's a royalty project. We have a 1% gross metal royalty on it. And the feasibility study is due out any day now. And that'll give us some visibility on that revenue stream that'll come from that project. And I think that'll be huge for investors to see that there is visibility on revenue from what will be a very big producer as far as revenue towards Globex's bottom line.
Well, a question that I wonder here is what attracted you to a strategy like this one?
Me personally?
Well, yeah, you personally, and then overall, what is so attractive about so many commodities and so many jurisdictions? Why is that strategy a positive?
So I don't know if you know my background, I'm an ex-portfolio manager and ex-mining analyst. And so I look at Globex like managing a portfolio. We have a portfolio of assets, mineral assets, we have a portfolio of royalties, and we have a portfolio of cash and securities.
Yeah.
And so you have to look at that whole picture together to understand how Globex moves forward. So we have the cash to move projects forward if we so choose. We make money. We're not raising equity every week like most junior mining companies. And we have growth coming, and a huge growth. And I think that growth needs to be understood. And that's why I like the company. I think that's why investors should like the company.
Totally. I completely agree. It's a fascinating story, and I just love watching all of the news flow coming out. And keep it up. Definitely come back and let's keep those updates going. Thank you again.
Thank you.
David, it's been a pleasure. I really, really appreciate all of this. And I think what stands apart in a sector often focused on single-story assets is the scale of Globex's portfolio, the expanding royalty pipeline, and the enormous amount of drilling taking place across both company-owned and partner-funded projects. That certainly gives investors plenty to watch. So again, that has been David Christie, president of Globex Mining. Globex Mining trades on the TSX under GMX, on the OTCQX under GLBXF, and on the Frankfurt under G1MN. I'm Lyndsay Malchuk. Thanks for joining us right here on the Market Front Lines. Be sure to subscribe because the biggest opportunities often emerge long before the broader market really recognizes them. And here's something I'm going to leave you all with. In a market obsessed with finding the next great discovery, are investors overlooking the companies quietly building dozens of ways to win? Stay tuned. We'll see you next time.